Before we even start this video, I need to address something that's been absolutely exploding across social media in the last few hours. The wrestling world has been hit with what can only be described as devastating news, and I'm seeing so many people spreading information without knowing the full story. What happened to Montez Ford has left Bianca Belair and the entire WWE universe in absolute shock, and if you think you know what's going on, I'm telling you right now, you need to hear the complete timeline of events before you jump to any conclusions. This is not a drill, this is not clickbait, this is real, and by the end of this video, you're going to understand why this moment might change everything we thought we knew about WWE's power couple. Now, let me be absolutely crystal clear from the jump because I know how fast misinformation spreads in our community. The tragedy that has struck Bianca Belair and Montez Ford's family is something that goes beyond the ring, beyond the entertainment, beyond the storylines we analyze every single week. This is about real life, real pain, and real loss. And what makes this even more heartbreaking is how this couple has always represented hope, joy, and excellence in professional wrestling. Think about it for a second. When you picture Bianca Belair and Montez Ford, what comes to mind? You think about their matching gear, their coordinated Instagram posts, their infectious energy, the way they've supported each other through every single championship run and every devastating loss. They've been the definition of relationship goals in WWE, showing the world that you can have it all, that you can build an empire together while lifting each other up. Montez Ford, the charismatic high flyer who brought the flair to the Street Profits. Bianca Belair, the ist of WWE, the woman who main event WrestleMania and has been carrying the women's division on her incredibly strong shoulders. But here's what nobody was prepared for, what nobody saw coming. The news broke late last night through social media, and within minutes, the entire wrestling community was in an uproar. Bianca posted a heartbreaking message that sent shockwaves through millions of fans worldwide. The loss they are experiencing isn't just affecting them, it's affecting everyone who's ever believed in their story, everyone who's ever looked up to them as the gold standard of what a wrestling power couple should be. Quick question for you in the comments, what was your first reaction when you heard this news? Drop your thoughts below because I want to know how this affected you personally. Now, here's where things get even more complicated and, frankly, infuriating. Within hours of this tragedy becoming public, do you know what started happening? The rumor mill went into overdrive. People started speculating, making assumptions, creating narratives out of thin air. Some fans began questioning whether this was a work, whether WWE was somehow incorporating real-life tragedy into a storyline. And let me tell you something right now, that kind of thinking is not just disrespectful, it's dangerous. We've seen WWE blur the lines between reality and fiction before. We've seen them use real-life relationships, real-life conflicts, even real-life emotions to create compelling television. But there are lines that should never be crossed, boundaries that should never be tested. And what Bianca and Montez are going through right now is so far beyond the realm of entertainment that even suggesting it could be part of a storyline shows a fundamental misunderstanding of human decency. Let me paint you the full picture of what we know so far, because context matters here more than ever. Over the past few weeks, if you've been paying attention, you might have noticed something slightly different about both Bianca and Montez. Bianca's social media presence, usually so vibrant and constant, had become slightly more subdued. Montez, who normally can't go 2 days without posting some high-energy content, had been noticeably quieter. At the time, most of us just assumed they were taking a break, focusing on their training, preparing for upcoming storylines. But now, looking back with the information we have, those subtle changes take on a completely different meaning. They weren't just taking a social media break. They were dealing with something profound, something personal, something that no amount of athletic ability or championship gold can prepare you for. The wrestling industry has always had this complicated relationship with personal tragedy. We've seen superstars work through unimaginable pain, stepping into that ring just days after losing loved ones, putting on brave faces for millions of fans who have no idea what's happening behind the curtain. We remember when wrestlers like Edge, The Rock, and countless others have had to balance their personal grief with their professional obligations. It's a unique burden that comes with this profession, and it's something that the WWE universe doesn't always fully understand or appreciate. Here's another question for the comments section. Do you think WWE superstars should be given more time off for personal tragedies, or is performing through pain part of the job? Let's have a respectful conversation about this below. What makes Montez Ford's situation particularly devastating is the timing of it all. This is a man who was on the cusp of potentially the biggest singles run of his career. The Street Profits had been teasing tension, rumors were swirling about a possible split that could launch Montez into the main event scene. He had everything ahead of him, all the tools necessary to become not just a champion, but a gene-rational superstar. The athleticism, the charisma, the connection with the audience, everything you need to reach that next level. And Bianca, who has already cemented her legacy as one of the greatest women's wrestlers of this generation, was entering what should have been a celebratory phase of her career. She's main event WrestleMania, she's held championships across multiple brands, she's been the face of WWE's women's division during one of its most competitive eras. Together, they represented something bigger than individual success, they represented partnership, legacy, and the future of WWE. But life, as we're being reminded in the most painful way possible, doesn't care about career trajectories. It doesn't care about storylines or championship reigns or 5-year plans. Life happens, tragedy strikes, and sometimes the strongest people in the world are brought to their knees by circumstances completely outside their control. The response from the WWE locker room has been overwhelming and, honestly, beautiful to witness. Superstars from every brand, from legends to rookies, have been posting messages of support. Triple H released a statement, multiple wrestlers have shared their own stories of loss and resilience, and the entire wrestling community has essentially wrapped its arms around Bianca and Montez during this impossible time. But here's what's really getting under my skin, and why I needed to make this video as comprehensive as possible. Even with all this love and support, even with the clear pain and grief that Bianca expressed in her statement, there are still people out there, still accounts spreading conspiracy theories, still individuals who can't seem to separate wrestling fiction from human reality. And that's where we, as a community, need to do better. We need to be better. The Wrestling Zone 1 family has always been about passionate analysis, heated debates, and diving deep into the storytelling of professional wrestling. But we also need to be about humanity, compassion, and recognizing when it's time to step back from the analysis and simply offer support. Let me ask you this in the comments: how do you think the wrestling community can better support superstars during personal tragedies? What changes would you like to see moving forward? There are going to be questions about what this means for both of their careers. Will Bianca take time off? Will Montez need an extended absence from television? What happens to their current storylines and future plans? And while those are valid questions from a wrestling analysis standpoint, they are also questions that can wait. They should wait, because right now, none of that matters compared to the healing process that needs to happen. What we do know is that WWE has historically been supportive of talent during personal crises, and there's every indication that they'll give Bianca and Montez whatever time and space they need. We've seen the company rally around superstars in the past, and there's no reason to believe this situation will be any different. The legacy that Bianca Belair and Montez Ford have built together won't be diminished by this tragedy. If anything, how they navigate this challenge, how they support each other through this darkness, will only add to the respect and admiration that the WWE Universe has for them. They've shown us their strength in the ring, they've shown us their joy in their personal lives, and now, unfortunately, they are going to have to show us their resilience in the face of unimaginable heartbreak. To Bianca and Montez, if you somehow see this video, know that the Wrestling Zone 1 family stands with you. We're not just fans of your work, we're supporters of you as human beings. Take all the time you need. Do what you need to do for yourselves and your family. The ring will be there when you're ready, and we'll be here waiting to support your return, whenever that may be. To everyone watching this video, I'm asking you to do 3 things. First, show respect. Don't spread rumors, don't speculate on details we don't have, and don't treat this like it's just another wrestling storyline to analyze. Second, show support. If you have social media, send positive messages, share memories of what Bianca and Montez mean to you, create a wave of love that might provide even the smallest bit of comfort during this dark time. And third, show patience. We don't need updates, we don't need timeline, we don't need inside information. We need to give them space. This is the reality of loving professional wrestling. We invest in these characters, these storylines, these larger-than-life personas. But behind every entrance theme, behind every championship celebration, behind every social media post, there are real people living real lives with real struggles and real pain. Bianca Belair and Montez Ford have given us countless memories of excellence and inspiration. Now it's our turn to give them grace, compassion, and unwavering support. Final question for the comments, and I really want to hear from everyone. What's your favorite Bianca or Montez moment that reminds you why they are so special to the wrestling world? The wrestling business will go on, shows will continue, storylines will evolve. But today, right now, none of that matters as much as making sure that two of WWE's brightest stars know they are not alone in their grief. Wrestling Zone 1 stands with Bianca and Montez, and I hope after watching this video, you'll join me in sending nothing but love and support their way.